What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction. Back to redo another reaction that I did on my old channel, and I did it very early on. So, the style was a little bit different. I was like sitting off camera, so this has always been one I wanted to come back and redo. We're going to listen to a 1996 tune. I mentioned it before, how much I think tunes from that year tended to be quite awesome. As someone gives a rhythmic honk outside. But yeah, we're going to listen to a tune called Space. I first heard this tune on a mixtape that I got very early in my raving career. My older brother went to these parties thrown by these guys sporty in Nike. Sometimes they were called Smaller. Indeed, they were like the Smaller Tribe, and then they threw a bigger one that they just called Bigger. And they threw a number of other parties with like funny names, like Whoop-De Freakin' Do was one of them, and I'm trying to remember some of the other names. But the point is, they put out a mixtape at one point. On one side was a mix by DJ Huggy. It was a trance mix. A number of tunes became early favorites of mine in the sort of like progressive hard trance sort of border between those two substyles. And then the other side was a house mix by a DJ named Danny Cosmo. And this track, Space, by Fletch, who is a Danish producer named Henrik Nielsen. No word on whether he's related to the excellent Danish composer Carl Nielsen. But yeah, bottom line, I'm not really into house, even acid house, which is funny, right? Like, I'm such a big fan of the acid sound and different styles of acid music, acid techno, acid trance, hardcore with acid, and so on. But the sort of grandfather of all the acid genres, acid house, not really my favorite. Some tunes I like. Hard floor is cool. I'm a big fan of hard floor, but generally speaking, it's just a little too slow, a little too, I don't know, older style. So bottom line, I'm not a huge house guy, although it's funny because late 90s, early 2000s, I got into that real kind of fast stomping hard house with Hoovers and so on. But that's a very different beast than like house of the late 80s and, into the 90s, like progressive house and vocal house and sort of like funky house and so on. Very different. But yeah, this is a house tune, but it's like right on the edge of being techno, I would say. It's, it's a house track from 96. It's not what I would necessarily call hard house, certainly not, again, in that like UK late 90s, early 2000s, like tidy tracks, nucleus. It's not like that. But it's got an edge to it, and it's much tougher than a lot of house tracks I remember. So when I listened to that Danny Cosmo mix, there were a few tracks along the way that I did like a lot. But this was by far my favorite of the mix, and I was like, damn, dude, this is almost like a techno track. So, bottom line, let's get to it. I'm going to redo a reaction that I always wanted to come back and redo once I started the new channel. This is Fletch, and again, what label is this? Spark Communications. I always like the, it's one of those logos on the record label that has that sort of like hypnotic quality as it spins. But yeah, let's get it. This is Fletch Space, 1996. I guess 45? Maybe 33. 33. Already you notice like the metallic electricity of that main riff, right? Of the percussion, it's like 1 every 8 or like every 4, that little hi-hat rhythm. Space. Electric metallic riff, it's just everything. because I don't really spin house sets. As far as I remember, I don't think I've ever played it at a party. But I can't imagine the devastation. Just the tension string, like. Space. Riff coming back with a vengeance. Instead of kind of lower, or not lower, slower techno, you can drop this and like, no one would really know you just played a house track. But it's not trying to do too much, like it's a simple tune, but highly effective. Oh, I love this. It's like you're unplugging different parts of the track slowly. Wait, it's not over? Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over. So we decided it is. Oh my god. Like, just reminded me, I basically recreated a moment from a different record. Mellow tracks, after that. Future vibes. Mellow tracks, future vibes. The like club DJ cut. I have like a really rare version of that too. And it samples that sample from Animal House. Devastating. I mean, it's, again, I don't listen to a lot of house. I've heard some good house over the years. Again, good acid house from Hard Floor and maybe a couple others, but turn the track inside out, and then it does this sort of like demented fade. Yeah, bottom line, I love that tune. You know, I don't think I've ever played it at a party so much as I remember. And I don't put together too many house mixes in my SoundCloud or in recent times YouTube. But yeah, bottom line, I'm still very happy to have the record even if I don't often use it in sets. It's a top tune. Shout out to Fletch or Henrik Nielsen. And yeah, like I said, it's a rare thing for me, but it's a top track, and again, I'm very happy to have the record. Anyway, let me know what you think of the tune. I will see you next time.